Hello everyone, this is Kit Carson here in front of Angelina's Pizza, where I talk to the most interesting people in the world. That's right, I interview the rock stars, the heroes and the gods, right here in front of Angelina's in beautiful Key West. And tonight I have a wonderful friend of mine. I think he's a returning guest. If you would, tell the world your name and where you're from.
Everybody wants to sit with Kit.
My name is Walt Davis, and I'm originally from Springfield, DELCO, right outside Philadelphia, that little cult area. And then I moved to the Jersey Shore, not Snookyville, like down South Jersey.
Not Snookyville?
Yeah, you know.
Ah, come on.
Not Jim Tan Laundry.
You know you like
more,
the Snookies?
Yeah, more like 3 popped collars and some peach pants. That's it, man. Going,
wow.
You know. Yeah, it's...
What year was that?
Oh, God, I was at the Shore we bought the house there in the 60s, but I moved down there good in 1978, and I was there till 7 years ago when I moved to this wonderful paradise.
That was a wonderful time there, wasn't it?
The Shore was different. People don't understand, you know, they think of Jersey, they think of Camden or something like that. But it's the Garden State. The shore towns are all each different, sort of like the Keys.
Yeah.
And every year around May, you have that feeling like it's coming, it's going to roll. And then July 4th comes and the summer explodes, and yeah, it's a beautiful time.
Yeah, I never spent much time up on the Jersey Shore.
Well, you know, it's like different. We lived in Stone Harbor, Avalon, which, you know, used to be like very right and uptight, you know, but old money, you know, everybody had like the LL Bean shoes, and, you know, you go to Margate Ventnor, you know, somebody's going to whip open their phone and show you their stock portfolio. Avalon, you're sitting next to a billionaire and you think this guy should probably get some shoes on, you know?
Right.
But that's a whole different world. And then there's Wildwood and Cape May, very much like here.
That's my biggest knowledge is when I first moved here, all the bartenders, Key West was very seasonal, and in the summer they would all go to Cape May.
Cape May had that great theater.
Or Wildwood.
But Cape May had that great theater connection. Also a pretty vibrant gay community.
Yep.
So there was that back and forth.
Yeah.
And, you know, servers like everybody in New York, you know, in Cape May, everybody's an actor and a server, you know. Little different now, but very interesting times down there. Yeah.
It's changed some.
Well, you know, it may not be worse, it's just different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, well, I love to tell people that when they go, oh, Key West isn't the same, and I look at them and go, are you the same? You know, you were 25 hanging out down here drinking a belly full of beer.
My dad didn't say too much, but when he bought the house in Avalon in 1960, they were on the bay. And, you know, he's like, I'm in the hardware store, and I hear these people going, man, some SOB bought the house on the bay. There goes the island. Everybody's, you know, it's terrible. So when my dad sold his house, people were like, we're going to knock it down and build a 20,000 square foot McMansion.
Another McMansion.
And everybody's like, oh, Gene, don't you hate that? He's like, no, I love the money, and it's their time to do what they want, just like it was my time in the 60s, you know?
Absolutely. Great point. It's their time to do what they want.
As Woody Allen said, you know, like a shark, move forward or die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
of course,
true.
It may not be great to quote Woody Allen these days, you know.
Well, maybe.
I don't
know that they'll know who he is.
I don't know.
They don't know who he
I
is.
talk to the kids at work, and they like look at me like, you know, like I'm telling them to wind a watch, you know, or find a phone booth. They're like, what the hell's the old man? The Viejo going a little crazy, you know. He's smoking the mota. He no. As they always say, these aren't like the wonder years. These are the wander the F off years. Hey, where'd Walt go? I don't know. He wandered off on the deck. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Find the manager. Where did he wander to? He's talking to somebody. Forgot he was supposed to be running the place.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my God.
So you're still at the wonderful Louis' backyard?
Still at Louis' backyard, very busy. As you know, Mr. Buffett was a great friend of Phil and all those, and you know, there's been a lot of that group coming in and paying homage to him there.
Well, in full disclosure, he did live next door.
He did live next door.
He wrote a lot of songs when he lived there in his.
Yes.
I wouldn't say youth. I guess he was probably in his 30s.
In his 30s, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was an old man.
You know, I thought when I 20, I thought everybody 30 was an old man.
Yeah,
now I like
exactly.
look at 90-year-olds and I'm like, man, he's pretty young.
Funny how it changes as you get closer to that finish
I was
line.
30. I'm like, kill me when I'm 50. Now I'm like, kill me when I'm 90. You know.
Yeah. Hope to be dead by 120.
And shot by a jealous husband.
Hopefully, right in the back.
Right in the back.
Damn right.
Wow. But yeah, so there's been a lot of those people came in. Mac played at the amphitheater, his guitarist. He came in for lunch, and Lulu, his sister, has been there a lot anyway.
I've heard.
And you know, he came 6 to 8 to 10 times a year, had lunch just like a regular guy, no airs.
Right.
Made the reservation under his own name.
Right.
You know, and like people say, Jimmy Buffett's in the book. You know, they call him, they go, I want to make a reservation, Jimmy Buffett. I'm like, he's already in the book.
Right.
You know, but very interesting. And according to Phil, very sweet guy. I only had brief interactions. Hey, take a picture. How are you? You know, that kind of stuff. But
you know, I tell people that too. I mean, we were before this. We were a lot more respectful of people's privacy.
Yes.
You didn't just run up and take pictures of people. You didn't bother them. And you know, I probably had half dozen interactions with Jimmy, and he was always nice to me. You know, I don't have anything bad to say.
So the host at Louis is Lady Sheila, very nice, a little older. So one day she forgets her hearing aid. She has two of them. So she's on the phone. She goes, Walt, across the Sunset Key called. There's a VIP rock star coming in, and I got him a reservation for lunch. He's coming in. I said, okay, who is it? She goes, Biz Buell.
Biz Buell.
I said, Biz Buell. So then I'm like, okay, no hearing aid. How do I interpret that? I'm like, so then I go, wait a minute. I said, I'm going to take a long shot here. Is it Vince Neil? She goes, yes. You know, so, Biz Buell. You know, let me tell you, that's a good alias, you know. But yeah, you know, he comes in for lunch and is, you know, just like anybody, normal guy, eats lunch, got a hat on, you know.
Yep.
He was giving me the Mick Jagger line. He's like, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I gave up drugs. I got a lot more time for sex and rock and roll, you know, which is a pretty good way to live.
Yeah, well, you know, we just got through having our Rock Island, and a lot of those guys are clean and sober now.
And you know what? I love that festival because, you know, you used to see like spotty tours, like metal guys who come 4 or 5 bands. You got to see a ton of people every way, you know, from Tom Kiefer to this one. And
Tom
that.
Kiefer was freaking awesome.
Awesome bands out there.
Awesome.
And, you know, you forget. And, you know, I saw years ago when they did that Key West Fest or something, Joe Cleghorn did it.
Right.
I went to see, come see Huey Lewis. I have great tickets for it. I'm like, sure, you know, but I got there, that horn section was phenomenal. Like, I compared it to Tower of Power, another great horn section. Just blew the place away.
Well,
I still get chills. And it's Huey Lewis, and I'm like, you know.
He was a badass, and you really didn't realize, you know, his chops were fantastic. His acapellas, and I mean, you know, he was a jazz. He was
and like I said,
man.
the horn section just blew me away. You know, Mac McAnally's guitar playing at the show was just I mean, you know, I saw Jeff Beck do one song with Stanley Clarke like 35 years ago. I've seen a bunch of great guitarists, you know, but Mac, just the way, the cleanness of the notes, you know, it just is beautiful.
He's a monster in his own right.
Yeah, and the freaking hair. The man's a Mississippi hair farmer. Farming ain't dead in America. That man got a crop this big in the 60s.
He's got it going on.
I looked at him, I said, Jesus, man, give me some of that back.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, mine's making a beeline to my behind, and he's got like stuff, you know, ear hair longer than my hair.
He's got a quaff.
Yeah, good stuff.
He does, man.
And that theater, they do a good job over there. That's a nice time over there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know, all the venues. Key West Theater does great. You know, the Coffee Butler.
I'm going to go
I've
see
enjoyed them.
Larry Joe Taylor and Scott Kirby at the music room next to the theater.
Okay.
It's just like 50 people. So I got to know him. Larry Joe is Gulf Shore's low-rent answer to Jimmy Buffett, is what he calls himself.
Okay.
Larry Joe tells the famous story. He's with his mom, and it's the holidays, and, you know, he's bitching. She goes, Larry Joe, don't blame it on Christmas. You were fat in August. So he's playing with Scott Kirby over there. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's only 50 people behind the guitar shop. It's a little studio. They did.
I've been in there once.
And you know, the singer-songwriters are perfect there. And it's Scott plays, then Larry Joe.
When is this?
It's in March, like 7th and 8th. And there's another guy, Lou London.
I wish they wouldn't do anything in March. I hate that. I'm often so busy I can't run away. However, it is just 2 blocks away.
And, you know, I got a friend of mine's rented out most of the place. I got to know him through Louis because he says, you know, Walt, you should come to my house in Texas. I have a little small music festival down there, but it's June. It's hot as hell, you know. Come on down. Like, you know, you're the man. And I said, okay. So I look it up. Yeah, little small music festival. 50,000 people a day on his lawn. You know, I'm thinking there's like Jimmy Thudpicker. I'm thinking there's Jimmy Thudpicker and a guy with like a box and a twing on it in front of his house. He's got Mac McAnally, you know, Jerry Jeff Walker, all this stuff. 50, just a little music fest, you know.
On my lawn, my 500-acre lawn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it takes a while to mow the North 40. It's like insane.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty funny.
He was a guest, and I met him over at Mac Mackey one time. He was standing outside, and that's when I got to know him, and he started saying, "Come to these shows with me, you take care of me." And anyway, some customers I do allow me to become friends in my life at Louis.
Yeah, well, that's nice of them.
Yeah,
Before they get to know you, right?
I keep the past things away, Where'd you grow up? Somewhere else, And do you have an ankle bracelet? Because mine is tingling. Somebody's nearby.
That's true story there.
True story there, I got to keep my leg out like this at this interview. Some of Kip's staff might ring me up.
They might, Oh boy, how many times have I seen that hat in Key West?
See what?
The ankle bracelets in Key West.
Well,
oh my God!
I love the pictures on Facebook. They're in a sexy bikini and they got an ankle bracelet on. Oh, okay, the Data Con, yeah. But listen,
it wasn't my fault, and something happened.
Good girls go to heaven, bad girls go everywhere.
Sure.
That's just
why not?
That's a fact of life there.
It is a fact of life, isn't it?
Exactly. When you were a young guy, you never wanted to meet the good girl.
Never.
No.
Never.
Yeah.
You were not.
Exactly,
You knew you were in trouble if you met her.
Oh, yeah. I remember I went to confession and I said to the priest, I was young, I said, "Father, I've had kind of impure relations with a girl." And he said, "Was it Samantha Jones?" I said, "No." He said, "Was it Mary McGinty?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, you're a brave young man, not revealing that to me. Give me 5 Hail Marys." So I walk outside, a kid next to me says, "Hey, what'd you get?" I said, 5 Hail Marys and 2 good tips.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you, Father.
He'll be here all week.
Father, I know who the easy girls are now.
Know who they are. Thank
Mary
you.
McGinty.
Yeah.
Town bicycle, rider today.
Wow. That's awful damn nice of him.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what? You gotta love those priests,
Yeah, well.
That was back in the real
Not
days.
they were loving on you.
No, it was, that's a whole other world there.
Yeah, it is.
We start diving down a deep rabbit hole there.
Yeah, just stay away from that one.
Yeah,
Boy,
exactly.
I grew up agnostic for a reason.
We always had Roman, my whole family's Roman Catholic. They got nuns in the family,
Right.
priests. Everybody had 8 kids. My uncle had like 13. It was like Roman roulette was
Yeah.
the birth control.
Yeah.
Whatever. Hey, honey, how many you got on your boobs? Okay, let me plug another one in there for you.
Yeah.
But I had 4 brothers and sisters, and
Wow. Yeah.
very cool.
No, there was
stuff.
4 in my family, and we were a small family.
Yeah. But I dug it. I don't think Tina had her and her brother, and that was my wife.
Yeah, well,
that was fine. But
back in our era,
her dad had 14 brothers and sisters.
yeah, my dad was the same way. He was he was like 13 out of 15, and there was like 4 or 5 that died. Crib death. Stillborn. I mean, he would have been number 19 had they all lived.
Yeah, for God's sakes, it's like a football team out there.
Absolutely. Well, that's what my mom said. A football team and a beauty queen's what everybody wanted. Got to till that land. Got to work the farm. But that was the agrarian South.
My sister's down for a month now. She's down from Philadelphia, and oh my God, what?
She's here for a month.
Yeah, she's not at my house. She's the fun one of the family. She's like, she's just
Wow.
Very interesting person to hang out with. My favorite sister story is, she's divorced. Her husband next time was a plumber. My father lived with her. Leaves the water running, bathtub, ruins the plumbing. She calls me up. She's like, oh, I said this, that. She said, oh, how much is it going to cost? Oh, I said, well, I'll pitch in because his daddy, you're taking care of him. She goes, yeah, the plumbing's not too much. I'm just going to fuck Ralph for a discount on the plumbing. Sorry, Mon, I didn't want to tell that story,
Get the discount.
Another story is, they got together again after 20-some years. So I'm out to lunch with Ralph, and I look down, and I said, Ralph, you have a Miller Lite. You haven't drank in 20 years. He goes, I'm dating your sister again.
Wow.
But yeah, she's a fun one in the family. Great time. She loves it down here. She was over seeing the Morlock Brothers the other night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she likes to go out. She's at the Parrot every night, so.
Right on.
Yeah, I give her props. She took care of my dad. My brother's sick. She's taking care of him, and when you're growing up, there's always one, and she was probably voted, with me, semi-least likely to care for the elderly parents, but she.
Yeah, both of my parents are passed, and my little sister took care of my mom for like three or 4 years. I don't even know. I didn't even know she was really that bad off until I went up and said, "Hey, where's mom?" I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But
well, Craig, my dad, Friday night, he's out in the bar drinking, 95, he was, having some cocktails. Sunday didn't feel good. Monday went in the hospital. Doctor came out and said, man, he's like worn every organ out. Like every organ must have had 2 cells left on Friday, and he shot him on Saturday. He's probably not going to make 24 hours. So I said, I went sitting there, I said, am I dying? And I said, yeah, pretty sure, Dad. And he goes, it's been a good run, And like 6 hours later, he passed, and can't beat that,
Yeah, 95. That's pretty solid. And
you're playing with house money for a while,
right? And you're out at the bar the night before. You're damn good. My wife's father's the same way. I think he's 93 or 94.
Yeah, but I'm going to die young because my wife's stronger than my mother was, so she's not going to let me live that long.
She'll choke you out.
And it was the old thing: why do married men die young? Because they want to. Rodney Dangerfield, thank you for that one. Because I remember one year we went to see Rodney, Stephen Wright.
Oh my God!
Robin Williams.
Wow.
And Sam Kinison, because it was that era of comedians when they were the rock stars.
That was the late '80s.
Kinison was the most insane one.
Just crazy, energetic.
Here's an absurd thought.
Made Robin Williams look like he was
I just
asleep.
remember this leaving. We go see Kinison, and it was at the Tower Theater. You could smoke in the lobby, but not in the seats.
Okay.
So everybody wanted to smoke weed in the seats, but the ushers would see the light of the cigarette or whatever.
Yeah.
Before we go in, we look next door. There's kind of a semi-head shop, and he's got 50,000 ketchup and mustard squeezies on the shelf.
Oh, wow.
So I said, what the hell is this? He goes, you roll a joint, stick it in the end, poke a hole on the side. You go to your seat, you sit there, the usher can't see the light, you can smoke all night at the thing,
Yeah.
So all I remember is leaving Sam Kinison at 2 in the morning, quite altered.
Yeah.
And I look up and there's just trash cans full of mustard and things. It was like a freaking Andy Warhol picture, like, what? The companies are probably thinking, how is this guy ordering 26,000 mustard squeezy bottles a month?
They were the best.
And what do they do with him? But what a genius guy,
Yeah, the little mustard ones were great.
Just, and you're sitting there and,
man, we
and you're
used to do that
smoking
shit.
swag and your head's throbbing and we're drinking. And I remember catching the public transportation back, and the whole thing just reeked of BO and weed and alcohol. And I'm thinking, this is the time. I hope these times never end. When I can,
Never.
Yeah. Someday I can afford a car.
Meanwhile, Kinnison's dead. Williams is dead.
He was really on the edge at Kinison. We told about the Undertaker joke. He's dead, and this like necrophilia. I mean, people now it's a little different, but then, man, that was like way out there. Way out there.
He was.
And then you had Dice, who, like, obviously, listen, there's a group that's going to hate him, but it just broke that thing. Everybody was kind of nice. They told stories and all this. And last one was like Lenny Bruce and Carlin was, but they, whether you loved them or hate them, they pushed it out. Now it's just like, you hear that on a text from the nuns at school, half the stuff these guys used to talk about, But
that's kind of true.
It is true,
Well, it's kind of PG'd, and it's also nothing shocking.
No.
So it goes both directions.
Well, and you have to say something shocking because you need content, man.
Right.
Everything's got to be content.
Right.
Yeah. Though I did have this guy come in the other night. He was 66 years old, an influencer. Like, oh Christ, what do we like? Geezer influencers. Didn't ask for a damn thing. He wanted a certain table, which was fine because it was sat on the deck and this and that. But I looked at his stuff, and I'm not on social media and all that, but very cool stuff. He was just like this old guy, and he happened to go in a restaurant, and his daughter said, Dad, Mom's dead, why don't you do this? And, he comes in, he's got his little card, he doesn't ever want anything, but he's got like 66,000 followers, Probably most of them can't, have no idea what he is. They're all like in Shady Pines retirement home, They waiting for the dial-up to go in.
Yeah, still waiting on dial-up. Wow. What was his name?
I have to dig the card up and get it for you, kid. I might even have it on me. I'll look.
I'm amazed that that was kind of trendy a few years back.
Yeah.
Everybody was an influencer.
Well, when I used to be at Amigos, I would get the calls. Hi, we're an influencer. I want to blow you up. I'm like, man, I wish I could fit more people in the door. Please don't do that stuff to me.
Right.
It's kind of like diners, drive-ins, and dives is fantastic. I'm not knocking it in the least, but if you're not prepped for the response, you can get buried after they leave.
Absolutely, just like that.
People flock there to see you and all that.
The Barstool guy, and people always ask me, why don't you get those? I'm like, look, appreciate what they do, but I don't need them at all.
Yeah, and
you know, we are doing fine.
And you know, Louis, you know, Phil's 83. The paperwork's the same paperwork we started with in 1983.
Yeah.
Everything is by the phone. People come in and they get like, why can't I sit at this table? I'm like, listen, these are Phil and Pat's and Tracy's and Jed's rules. These are the people that I'm standing on their shoulders here as a manager. I just follow what they do, you know. I mean, it's like one of the few places you go in and like, I do all these people and Phil says to me, hey man, you know what, kitchen's small. I had a lot of guests say they felt pushed. Cut it down. You know, we do like 200 and we do X amount and X amount. You're pushing like 20 over that. You're not really helping. Tags went down. People were complaining. The kitchen's backed up. Just relax. This is why I designed this system, so you don't have to think about it, you know?
You know, and people are a little more into the experience.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful spot. And you know, like my brother, my first boss, Jim Barnaby, used to say, don't think you'll weaken the nation. You know? Just come in. True. I have the system designed. Plug into it. Don't worry about anything else. You know.
I haven't been there in years, but I'm gonna have to come by.
And the cafe's lovely upstairs with Blondie.
Right.
We're cascaging our own bourbon Negronis there with a high rye bourbon and a great vermouth. We put red cranberry ice cubes in a white Cosmo to kind of, you know, and the view is just absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Blondie's up there, Julie. We have the man bun Mladen, you know, he's the tall Serbian guy, and all the ladies are, you know, it's like Cougar Hunter, you know, and I'm not talking Marlon Perkins.
No.
But nobody knows what that reference is either, also.
That's a little old.
It's a little old. Who we say? Oh, the other guy just died too. Anyway.
But then again, you used to have on your after deck the guy with the longest legs in the world back there. So y'all have always been notorious for having.
Oh yeah, Chris, yeah. He had the longest legs and the little short corduroy OP shorts.
The shortest shorts.
You were praying he didn't put his leg up on the beer box because it was like Beans and Frank's time all over the bar. You know.
I see him often.
He looks the same. The hair's gray, but he looks the
his
same.
hair's gray.
Yeah.
But he's still got the long hair, and to me, he's the same.
He freaking was truly a rock star in those days down here.
He was, man.
You know,
he was.
Buffett and all those people hung out with him. You know, they were all, you know, they wanted to be around this guy because he attracted women like you would not believe.
He was. I remember hearing of him almost the moment I came on the island.
Yeah, I mean, 6'2". It says in that article they were on sick, booming voice, you know. Yeah. But I just remember going in with the OP shorts and he's standing there like this, and I'm like, Jesus. Yeah, the funny thing was, I used to go to Louis when I first came down here seasonally. We went there from like '89 to 2010. I never ate there. I went there midnight because, you know, there was a lot of business people that went there, and, you know, we were all partying late night.
We would go there for drinks.
Yeah.
That was usually 90% of the time I was on the after deck.
Yeah, and then 2010 I ate there for dinner, and I was like, damn, this guy's got really good food. I probably should have, like, you know, gone there and done something.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a very cool bus spot to work. Jed's carried on the tradition very well. The staff, you know, like I said, sometimes I look up at these meetings. We had a liquor meeting, and a couple people from another restaurant come in because they had to take the course in it. So they're looking around, and they're like, we look down, and I said, yeah, you can tell Louis staff, it's fucking Jurassic Park, and like these guys are like spring chickens. They're all 22, and he's in the restaurant business, great. Until you lose your soul.
Yeah, your staff could give the meeting. Yeah. It's like my staff. We have those quarterly meetings. They should take an hour, and they take about 30 minutes.
They take
not
30
even.
Minutes. We all like we know we can repeat them just word by word because we've all taken them 100 times.
Everyone.
Well, you know, there is some updates. You know, when they had the medical marijuana cards, people were trying to use that for ID.
Right.
It's not legal. You know. I mean,
there's some strange stuff like that.
Strange stuff like that.
And there's new stuff comes along that's good.
And, you know, but I just they all sit there and like snooze through it and everything like that. But
hey, well, I don't want to run you off, but your patient bride over there is.
But yeah, she's looking at me to look.
She's patient.
She's a wonderful lady. 35 years together.
Man.
I mean, it's just.
You and Tina have been together 35 years?
Yeah, she's rescued me many times,
Man.
you know.
Wow.
Most definitely, yeah.
I cannot believe it.
I know. I mean, I looked up and I came down here with her. I have this picture of me. Let me see if I have it from 35 years ago when I came down here.
Right.
And I looked up this morning and I said, who the hell pasted the picture of my father in the mirror, you know? it was crazy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, I definitely have it. But, yeah, it's Walt back in the day.
I want to see this.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Now, what year would this be?
1988.
88.
Yes.
Yeah. I know. Every now and then, a few old photos of me surface.
Holy bejesus. Yeah.
1988.
Yeah. And here's another reference that no one under 50 will get. It's like a reverse Dorian Gray picture, you know? Yeah.
See the dimple?
Yeah. That was when I came down here. I hopped in the car. I looked up this morning. There was my dad's picture in the mirror.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. How did that happen?
How did that happen, you know?
His dad's picture was right there staring at him.
Yeah, it's crazy good living.
You look like
you
your
know?
dad?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah, I
you
do
really?
look like my dad. My dad was, but we never called my dad Gene or Dad. We called him Bomber. Because he used to hang out with all the cops in Philly and drink a lot, and he crashed like 17 cars. Never got hurt, holes and all that. So everybody knew him as Bomber. And, you know, he was a character in his own right. I don't think the guy said like 33 words to me his entire life. And then, you know, he was like the, you know, the stiff hugger guy.
Yeah.
So Tina and I, when we started dating, we'd go in the bar, and there he is, and he's down on one knee singing to this lady, and he's the life of the effing party. So I buy him a drink, and he says to the bartender, no, and the bartender says, no, he doesn't want you to buy him a drink because it's you and Tina, and he'd have to buy two in return.
Oh, boom, boom.
But after my mother died, the guy never shut up. He had girlfriend after girlfriend, all these ladies, you know, and it was like he'd sit there and I'm like, Dad, man, you're 88. I don't want to hear woman problems from you, you know. And here's a classic story. He had a little problem prostate-wise, so he had to be catheterized for like a month.
Yeah.
So my sister comes home and the home nurse is at the house, and she goes, oh, I had to reinstall your dad's catheter, you know. Oh, okay, well, what happened? Now you better talk to your dad. She goes, Daddy, what happened? He goes, hey, I was with a woman. I have needs. I mean, that's a motivated man. So
you're damn right.
I'll leave you on that note. My wife's like thinking, what do I have to look forward to? But like I said, well, she buys those really soft pillows that are good for suffocation. I mean, good for sleeping.
Yeah,
and, you know,
it's
just
the way to your head right on in here.
That's it.
Wonderful.
All right, Kit, thank you so much.
I always enjoy my time with you. You're the best. I'm not even going to ask you your gratuitous. Yeah, I am. If you were a pizza, what kind of pizza would you be?
You know me,
Every day's a different day.
You know.
What would it be today?
I would be bacon and just extra cheese today. You know?
Bacon and extra cheese.
Yeah, I'm not going to do any of that macaroni and cheese pizza, you know, and stuff like that. You know,
I appreciate that.
You know, let's stick to the basics.
Some pungent pork product on there is all you need.
Though, you know, I mean, I have had those pizzas in the past, but that's a whole different type of pizza shop.
That is.
It's a slice shop. It's not a pie shop.
We're not that fancy anyway.
You know, and it's like Chicago with the ketchup thing. You know, you get into the Hawaiian pizza dispute, you know, that nobody should ever put bacon or pineapple on a pizza. So I really know little about that. I just know when you're mighty stoned up, bacon pineapple pizza tastes pretty good.
Put whatever the hell you want on there. It's pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
It's damn good. That's what it is.
It's salty, sweet, savory. Yeah. Let's go.
Absolutely. Well, once again, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I want to thank all the guests for watching. Thank you so much. And I want to say on behalf of my staff, the crew, and Tim, good night, everyone. Bye.